Let's talk about one of the most important concepts in workplace investigations: corroboration. Simply put, corroboration means finding evidence that supports or confirms a claim. Think of it as connecting the dots. Instead of relying on just one person's story, investigators look for other pieces of information that help verify what really happened. For example, if an employee says they were harassed during a meeting, an investigator won't simply accept or reject the allegation based on that statement alone. They'll look for supporting evidence. Were there witnesses? Are there emails, chat messages, or calendar records that place the people together at that time? Does any other evidence support the employee's account? The more pieces of evidence that point in the same direction, the stronger the case becomes. Corroboration actually begins before the formal investigation gets underway. During the assessment phase, investigators start by checking the basics. Were the people involved actually working that day? Were they present at the location where the incident supposedly occurred? Do company records support the timeline being reported? In cases involving theft or security incidents, investigators may ask questions like, who had possession of the missing item? When was it last seen? Who had access to it? These simple checks help determine whether there's enough information to move forward with a formal investigation. When it comes to corroboration, different witnesses provide different levels of support. The strongest witness is usually an eyewitness, someone who actually saw the event happen, but not everyone has direct knowledge. Sometimes a person can still provide valuable information even if they didn't witness the event itself. For example, imagine a supervisor hears a loud crash in a warehouse and runs over to find an employee injured on the floor. The supervisor didn't see the accident happen, but their observations help confirm that an incident occurred. That's what we call corroborative evidence. Independent witnesses can be especially valuable. These might be customers, contractors, delivery drivers, or visitors who have no personal stake in the outcome. Because they're generally viewed as neutral, their evidence often carries significant weight. One of the biggest challenges investigators face is when two people tell completely different stories. In those situations, corroboration becomes critical. Investigators look for evidence that supports one version of events over another. They compare statements against things like access card records, computer logins, emails, text messages, security footage, and other documents. For example, if someone claims they weren't at work when an incident occurred, but security records show they entered the building at that exact time, that's important corroborating evidence. The strongest findings often come when witness statements line up with objective evidence. Corroboration can come from many different places. It might come from physical evidence, such as damaged equipment or missing property. It might come from digital evidence, including emails, text messages, access logs, or computer records. It might come from surveillance footage that confirms someone's movements or activities. Or it could come from financial records, audit reports, or transaction histories in cases involving fraud or theft. Each piece of evidence may seem small on its own, but together they help create a clearer picture of what happened. How much corroboration is enough? A common misconception is that workplace investigations require absolute proof. They don't. Unlike criminal courts, workplace investigations are typically based on the balance of probabilities. In other words, the question isn't whether something happened beyond all doubt. The question is whether it's more likely than not that it happened. Sometimes a few small pieces of evidence are enough to tip the scales in one direction. That's why experienced investigators pay attention to every detail. A badge swipe, a timestamp, an email, or a witness observation may seem insignificant on its own, but when combined with other evidence, it can become a crucial part of the story. At the end of the day, corroboration is all about building confidence in the facts. The more evidence that supports a conclusion, the more credible, defensible, and reliable the investigation becomes.